I've been lucky enough to get my hands on the Clair Obscur Expedition 33 preview demo, and I can say that I'm extremely happy to see how well this is performing on the Steam Deck. There is a couple of little niggles, but that is mostly about the gameplay, and obviously this is a very early preview of gameplay, so I do expect there's going to be some updates overall. However, yes, it is playable on the Steam Deck, and I would expect this to actually get official playable status ahead of release with this demo as well. It isn't going to be up to everybody's standard. It is turn-based, so we can forgive some of those graphics dips, and you'll see that it actually sits around 25 to 28 frames per second on a lot of this footage. So it does seem to be that some of the UI and stuff is actually capping that frame rate. So although it is dipping under 30 here, and 30 capped is my main recommendation, and I'll come on to that in a minute, it isn't actually noticeable when you're playing the game. So I am very impressed at how well optimized this is. Although there doesn't seem to be the option of upscaling technologies right now, it is a hard set kind of upscale preset, so I do hope that we're going to see some XeSS and FSR3 implemented when this actually gets released. It is looking gorgeous on the OLED screen. Don't forget that this is an 800p image that will be upscaled to whatever size screen that you're looking at, so be sure to minimize or shrink that window to get a better view of what this will look like on the deck. Cutscenes are a bit hit and miss. Some of these do dip right down into the low 20s, and there doesn't seem to be any major reason for it, but for the most part the cutscenes with these settings are running quite well. You see there's a big dip there down to 20 frames per second, and there's really not much going on the screen. It's almost like they've got some variable rate codecs going on there, or real-time rendering of the graphics, which is taking a bit of a hit on the deck. Settings wise, I do say cap this at 30 for now, but put resolution scale at 60 to 70. I go with about 65 with the low preset, medium anti-aliasing and medium textures with motion blur, film grain and chromatic aberration off, and for the most part it does look exceptionally good. Now if I uncap the frame rate, you'll see that we do get above that 30 most of the time on the outside world, but when we get back into that combat it dips under 30 again. Now when we go to one of the other areas, which is inside like a cave, we have lots of luminous effects, but it does hold that 30 a lot better in combat for some reason. So I think there is some real-time rendering in the background going on here, which does obviously hit performance somewhat, but it is still phenomenal that this is running that well on the deck. And you'll see with some of the effects here, you can see on the character they don't quite render as we would hope, but for stability I do find around 65% resolution scale and capping this at 30 to be the better option. Even with that capped 30 though, we are pushing over 21 watts on the Steam Deck OLED, so an hour and a half if you're lucky on the battery life, so you are going to want to be around power. Hopefully we do see this on some of the streaming engines as well when it gets closer to release, to see if we can get better performance out on the deck as well. Combat is very interesting. It's not only turn-based, but we have the option to dodge and parry those attacks as well, and obviously we've got the skill range and normal attacks, and we even have real-time attacks as well, where we can aim a weapon and shoot in between the kind of standard turn-based actions and quick time events on top of that. So it's very involved on the combat front. My only major gripe about this at the moment is that there is no map or mini-map, so exploration outside of combat can feel a little bit annoying. Having the monsters actually visible for your kind of random encounters does make it a bit easier to navigate, but sometimes does feel like you are exploring vast areas without a lot going on. So overall, very positive impressions of this so far, and I can only hope that this will get better with patches, but this is one of my most anticipated games this year, and I'm really excited to see how it progresses. So keep your eye on the channel for more updates as this gets updated, especially when the full game releases. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.